Now, what about healthcare? How does that keep operating? I caught up with Augustine Amusu, who is a chief information officer at Mediclinic Group right here in the UAE. And this is what he told me.
Impact, of course, it's first of all frustration, right? From many, many suboptimal processes that are impacted within an organization. From simple things like, knowing who's coming through the door, right? Who's coming for an appointment tomorrow, the next hour, those sort of things. Delaying the commencement of key surgical procedures or radiology scans and those sort of things, or things like insurance approvals, right? And insurance approvals might sound like a small thing, but in a healthcare environment, it can cause a whole lot of chaos and suboptimal processes. So, who's been approved, people who are not been approved for a procedure coming in, then being told, sorry, you're not approved, and people coming and going. So that area can have a lot of impact and leading to fairly poor service experience. And then the loss of collaborative tools, like the health information system, things like Microsoft Teams, email. However, the norm in the industry, though, is when these sort of things happen, there's always a declaration of a code. In healthcare, some of them are called code gold, for example, which means there's a loss of utility, and internet is one of the utilities. And that then triggers downstream business continuity processes to happen. And that leads to, of course, people pulling out well-rehearsed and hopefully familiar manual files, binders, folders.
Manual files, binders, and folders. I thought, come on, are they really printing out all these documents? And he told me, yeah, actually, it is commonplace for the files to be backed up in paper.
Really?
And in fact, disaster recovery drills in healthcare, he said, is a norm in the industry. So they'll actually practice so that it's familiar for people to use those tools. Because it's one thing to have the papers and the binders. But if you haven't used that tool in years and years, it's not familiar. So it creates friction. He's like, well, we actually do disaster recovery drills to ensure people are comfortable with those backup plans.
Oh, wow. That's very reassuring.
It is, isn't it? I was a lot more reassured looking into this than I was expecting it to be. It was a lot less sensational than I thought this topic could be. Ultimately, could it happen? Let's go back to Bill for this one. But it's so incredibly unlikely for many reasons.
I think that's relatively unlikely, because we still have multiple service providers, multiple cloud service providers, multiple internet providers, and many different platforms. And they are distributed, so that one person was speaking to me and said, well, everything's centralized in the US, so the world could go down, and that's not true. I mean, it's the cloud service providers have mirror sites around the world, and so that they're closer to their users, and they can have some more tailored services and so forth. And so that ever since the telephone developed, electronic service providers have always thought through what happens if this switching center is blown up, or it catches fire, or it goes down.
So basically, people have thought up the backup plans.
Mm-hmm.
When I was thinking this might be a bit more of a dramatic kind of outcome. We're so reliant on the internet. What happens if it goes out? Well, guess what? There's a lot of backups.
There's backups.
Yeah, it's a lot of chaos, probably.
Going back to paper and calculators.
A lot of inconvenience, but there are a lot of backups that are out there, of course. There are certain things that will be a lot more challenging than others, but thanks to our guests for walking us through that. All right, we are getting close to the end of this show, but we do have a few more fun stories to share with you, so stay with us on The Reboot.
This is The Reboot
on Dubai Eye 103.8.
the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
We have just a few more minutes on The Reboot today.